Coast. We have from the RNC, the Chief Strategist and Communications Director, Sean Spicer. Thank you, Sean. Good to see you here in the studio.
Thanks for having me.
Said it's easier to be you now than it was a week or two ago. You must be happy, obviously, to see like the Fox poll and things tightening up.
Fox poll, the LA Times poll, the Mayor's poll. I mean, the one nice thing is that they're all trending in the right direction, right? And you look at them, the gap has been closing with Hillary Clinton, not just on the national level, but on the state level. So whether it's a state like Ohio or Florida, Iowa, the polls not only are trending all in the right direction. That's very positive as we head out into and out of Labor Day.
I want to go through that a little bit, the data on some of these states in just a second. But let me ask you about last night first. A couple of our guests, even on this show today, and I know some earlier, have made the case that that was a strange approach last night to be as hardline and aggressive as Donald Trump was on immigration after being quite diplomatic in Mexico. What do you say to that?
Again, I think there's two separate events, right? One is he went down and met with a foreign leader. You act presidential when you're down there. Two is that you're at a rally and giving a speech. But what he was, and I think what people are overlooking, was he is consistent. He didn't flip-flop. Hillary Clinton's the one who, when you look at her position on all of these issues regarding immigration and how to deal with people that are in the country illegally,
right,
she has gone back and forth on both sides of the issues over and over again.
Now, to be fair, on that deportation force issue, he has wavered a little bit the last couple of weeks.
But again,
right?
I think that the fact of the matter is that he has been very consistent that there are people that are in this country illegally and they have to be removed from the country. He has talked about the procedure and the mechanism on how to do that. And I think that's a very different subject. He has been 100% consistent that if you're in this country illegally, you need to go back. And I think that those people who haven't committed a crime, which is the vast majority of them, then can apply for legal status after they return to their own. But again, 100% consistency on that. That's very different than Hillary Clinton.
So what do you say to the political question, though? You brought up trend lines going in Donald Trump's direction, which is obviously true. The Fox numbers are the latest to show that. What do you say to the political question, though, if you take this hardline approach now, presumably to shore up your base, that you're not bringing in the new voters you need to not only draw you close, but to put you over the top?
Yeah, again, I don't necessarily believe that. I think that because what it is he didn't come out last night and say something or do something that was inconsistent. He has been very clear about the need to secure the border, create a deterrence for future immigration, and make sure that we deal with the folks that are in this country illegally. He did all of that last night. He didn't change anything new. He went into more detail. I don't know that I would remark on the, call it, hard line as much as consistent.
Okay, I told you I wanted to you about data and analytics in the states a little bit. Let me ask you first a question, and then I'll get to some of these key states. There's a report out there that the RNC told Eric Trump, Donald Trump's son, that things are pretty grim in the Electoral College. Is that true?
No, not at all. We went through the map where it stands right now, went through state by state, gave a briefing, and again, I don't think there's anything different than you see in public polling what our data suggests.
Okay.
And which is that the race is tightening, that the momentum's with us, but I think that we understand that this is going to be a crucial last 68 days in the election. So there's nothing different that you see in public polling than we're seeing privately, which is that the race is not only closing but trending in our direction.
It is. It's trending in your direction, no doubt. We're showing battleground states now. Let's go to the Fox scorecard, and we'll show that as well, because one of the things that our analysts here at Fox have not done today, and this is interesting, even though our poll, the poll that was commissioned by Fox, has tightened up, they have not changed their election scorecard yet, and it still shows that Hillary Clinton is in a very, very good position in that Electoral College with more than 270 electoral votes if you combine the solidly Democratic states with the states that our data shows are leaning Democratic. So where does Donald Trump turn it around? What's the key right now?
Well, I think, first of all, I think there are a lot of states that people aren't looking at. I think we're doing very well in Nevada, Iowa, Pennsylvania. That gap continues to close.
Okay, he can win Nevada, you're saying. That's 6.
Oh, absolutely.
What about Pennsylvania? That seems like a tall order, but you tell me.
No, it does. But I think, again, you look at the trend line of where it's headed. It's moving in Donald Trump's direction. He continues to spend a lot of time there. We're going to put a lot more resources there. I think Pennsylvania closes, and I think we're victorious there in the end. You look at Florida and Ohio, 2 must-win states. We're up or tied in both. They're trending in our direction. Same thing. I think you look at even, every one of these states, again, we feel really good about.
Is Pennsylvania must-win? Because you
it's
said
not
you think
must win.
Okay, but how does he win without it? Because I've been trying to figure it out, play around with the maps. How does he win without Pennsylvania?
And I think you look and you whether it's Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, or Virginia, you've got to start putting together a combination that gets you to 270 plus. We've got several paths that get us there, but again, if you take out Pennsylvania, You got to go to Virginia, Wisconsin, or Michigan. But some of those big states, or medium states as they are rather, have to be part of that equation.
So what's the strategy to get there? Is the appeal to the base part of that strategy? That base
absolutely.
being
Look,
white male voters that have driven Donald Trump
to where he is? It's not just white male, because I think what Donald Trump does right now is win over independents, a lot of low propensity Democrats, union workers. So we're bringing in that chunk. There's no question he's got that. What we need to do, and what you've seen in the polls, is a continuation of our ability to get Republicans back on board, get them at traditional levels. I think there's no question the easiest task for either party is to get their own people to come home. Hillary Clinton's already got the consolidation of Democrats. She's got to go out and find new voters. We've got those people. Trump's brought in, thousands and millions of people into the organization that weren't. We got to bring some of the skeptical Republicans home.
Thank you, Sean. It's good to see you. So the trends, you're right, are going in that direction. Interesting, you think maybe without Pennsylvania. But how close do you think, real quick, Pennsylvania is now? How many points?
It's probably 4 to 6 right now.
Okay, so that you can close that gap.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I think there's a lot of fertile ground to go out there and do it. But again, it's going to be an uphill battle, but the momentum's at our back. We've got the resources, the data, and the field program to make it happen.
Sean, thank you very much. Good to see you.